It always begins quietly, not with thunder, not with shadows moving, but with something far more dangerous. Subtle shifts in your life that no one else notices but you. The kind of changes that make you pause, look around, and wonder, why does everything suddenly feel wrong? Most people brush these moments away. But I can't. I've seen what causes them. I've done what causes them. And if you knew how someone can curse you without speaking a word, you would never ignore these signs again. So the real question is, has it already begun? Before I left the world of witchcraft, I learned a painful truth. Curses rarely arrive loudly. They slip into a person's life like fog, soft, slow, unnoticed. People imagine curses as dramatic rituals, glowing candles, or dark incantations whispered at midnight. But the most dangerous ones are silent, invisible, wrapped in intention rather than ceremony. I remember the first time I placed a curse on someone. I didn't need a doll or blood or fire. I only needed focus, anger, and the willingness to send that darkness into their life. It shocked me how quickly things began shifting around them. Tiny disruptions at first, then emotional cracks, then spiritual heaviness. They never knew where it came from. They blamed life. They blamed stress. They blamed themselves. And that is how curses win. They hide inside what you mistake as coincidence. That's why I want to tell you these signs, because once you recognize them, the curse loses its power. Darkness fears awareness. And these signs begin long before someone's life collapses. Think of your life as a house: strong walls, locked doors, safe rooms. A curse is not a bulldozer crashing through your home. It's a tiny fracture in the foundation. Something you don't notice until the floor begins to tilt. One small crack today becomes a disaster later. That's how spiritual attacks work: quiet damage that grows. And that is the analogy most people miss. A curse isn't a strike, it's a leak in the soul, a leak in the emotions, a leak in the spirit. And if you don't seal it, the entire structure floods. The first signs appear emotionally. You wake up with heaviness that wasn't there yesterday. You feel watched. You feel drained. Your own thoughts begin to work against you. Not loudly, but subtly, like whispers threading through your mind. A person under a curse often describes it the same way. I feel off, but I don't know why. Then the physical world begins to reflect the spiritual one. Sudden conflict with people who once loved you. Random accidents. Items breaking. Money disappearing faster than before. A strange sick feeling in places that used to feel safe. It's never one major event. It's several small ones forming a pattern. And that pattern is the fingerprint of a curse. When I practiced witchcraft, the easiest people to curse were the ones who didn't believe curses existed. Their disbelief made them open, unguarded, spiritually exposed. But the hardest people to curse were the ones who recognized the signs early. Awareness creates resistance. Resistance weakens the curse. And when a curse weakens, the one who sent it begins to feel the pressure backfire. I've seen people curse someone and then fall into the same darkness they tried to send out. That's why many witches are careful. They know the spiritual backlash is real. When you shine light on a curse, the energy shifts, it trembles, it loses its grip. Through all my years in the occult, the most chilling truth I learned is this: a curse doesn't have to come from an enemy. Sometimes it comes from someone who smiles at you, someone who envies you quietly, someone who competes with you silently, someone who hates you secretly. Their heart becomes the altar, and their intention becomes the ritual. These signs I'm about to reveal are not random. They are patterns I repeated when I targeted someone, and patterns I suffered when someone targeted me. If you recognize even one of them, pay attention. If you recognize several, something deeper may be happening, because curses are not fantasies. They are intentions with claws. And when those claws reach for you, they leave marks long before you see There are moments when your heart feels heavy, restless, or uneasy, and yet the world around you seems calm, ordinary, even peaceful. You cannot explain why your mood shifts, why fear or sadness grips you without reason. This is no coincidence. In my years of witnessing the unseen, I have come to understand that these emotional storms are often the first signs of spiritual interference. They are the whispers of forces working behind the veil, unseen but profoundly real. Imagine waking up one morning with dread pressing on your chest, your mind racing with worries that have no basis in reality. Your relationships are fine, your work is stable, yet your spirit feels under siege. That is the nature of the emotional storm. It signals that a hidden intention, often rooted in another's jealousy or malice, is influencing your energy. The human spirit is sensitive. It can feel disturbances before the external world reflects them. Just as a barometer senses an approaching storm long before clouds gather, your emotions sense the spiritual pressure building around you. These storms are subtle but powerful. They are not violent bursts of anger or grief. They are quiet, persistent shifts. The victim may begin to second guess decisions, to feel anxious for no reason, or to struggle with unexplainable fatigue. These feelings are the initial probes of spiritual attack, testing the boundaries of your awareness and resilience. I have seen people dismiss these sensations as stress, depression, or overthinking. But in reality, They are signals that should never be ignored. The lesson here is awareness and discernment. Emotional storms, when recognized for what they are, can guide you. They reveal areas of vulnerability, the cracks through which darkness might try to enter. Spiritual vigilance, prayer, and intentional focus on inner calm act as protective barriers. Ignoring the storm is what allows it to deepen, turning a subtle unease into prolonged spiritual weight. Understanding this early warning system gives you the chance to fortify your spirit before more overt disturbances occur. Life is filled with chance, yet there are sequences that feel too precise to be random. Small accidents, repeated delays, or unexpected obstacles can create a pattern, a fingerprint of unseen forces at work. I have studied these patterns, witnessed them during my years in the occult, and later in guiding those who faced them. When misfortune repeats in ways that defy normal probability, it is often a sign that someone is directing spiritual intention against you. The key is subtlety. The disturbances are rarely catastrophic at first. A lost item here, a car that won't start there, minor financial setbacks, small arguments erupting without cause. All these can be orchestrated by unseen hands. Individually, they seem trivial. Collectively, they reveal a pattern that signals spiritual interference. Like raindrops forming streams that carve valleys in stone, repeated minor disruptions leave marks on your life that accumulate, shaping decisions, emotions, and opportunities. Awareness of the pattern is vital. Recognizing that these events are connected, that they are not merely coincidental, allows the individual to break the cycle. Ignoring them is equivalent to leaving doors open for further influence. The spiritual principle is clear. Repeated disruptions exploit vulnerability. They target the unguarded mind and spirit, testing reactions and shaping behavior over time. Those who learn to identify these fingerprints early regain control and resist further influence. There are days when your energy wanes inexplicably. Motivation disappears. Even simple tasks feel exhausting. I have observed that this is often the work of unseen forces. Someone may be directing intention toward you, feeding off your vitality, clouding your focus, and weakening your spirit. This invisible drain is subtle. It does not strike like lightning. Instead, it slowly saps your strength, leaving you mentally fatigued and emotionally depleted. Imagine a shadow hovering over a lamp, dimming the light. The room remains, but the glow fades. That is how spiritual attacks work on the mind. Energy is absorbed, clarity reduced, and the soul feels heavy, even when the environment remains supportive. Recognizing this drain is critical. Many dismiss it as laziness or overwork, but in truth, it signals a subtle spiritual battle. Methods like meditation, prayer, grounding exercises, and shielding your energy are vital to reclaiming what is being silently taken. Awareness alone begins the restoration process, revealing that unseen hands were at work and providing the power to resist. Not all attacks come from known enemies. Often, the most insidious forces are born from unseen hearts, people who harbor jealousy or envy but conceal it behind polite smiles. This hidden jealousy resonates spiritually, creating echoes that ripple into your life. I have witnessed how someone's secret malice can manifest as sudden obstacles, emotional turbulence, or prolonged misfortune in another's life. These echoes do not appear as obvious attacks, but as subtle distortions that shape circumstances, relationships, and inner peace. It is like a silent drumbeat in the spiritual atmosphere. You do not see the hand that strikes, but the vibration reaches you. Recognizing that jealousy can operate invisibly allows you to detach from blame, see the hidden source, and protect your spirit. Prayer, protective rituals, and spiritual discernment disrupt these echoes, breaking the chain of influence. Understanding that unseen hearts can be the true source of spiritual disturbance is empowering because it moves you from fear to strategy, from passivity to vigilance.